Stirrup Creek. It's kind of funny to see all of these water sources in end of August mode, end of summer mode, because I most often hike this area south of Snoqualmie Pass early in the season, scouting for downed logs and things. And so the snow is melting. There's usually patches of snow on the trail in different places, and places like Stirrup Creek can be quite difficult to get across with feet dry, even wearing waterproof boots. But right now it is calm and gentle. Good morning. So I'm headed towards Mirror Lake this morning for my rendezvous with Tamara and Fugitive. This area south of Snoqualmie Pass is a working forest. Actually, there's a bit of an interesting history in that when the railroads were building lines through the west, the federal government gave them land grants to assist with the building or to incentivize them. I'm actually not fully up to date on all the details of that, but for reasons that are unknown to me right now, those land grants often came in a checkerboard pattern where the railroad would get, well, imagine a checkerboard and the railroads would get all the white squares and the government would keep the black squares. I don't know why, but this area was definitely dealt with in that manner. And now the squares that were granted to the railroad companies are now owned by timber companies, and they log them in a rotating fashion. And then some of the National Forest squares have also been logged due to timber sales, but some of them have not been cut recently or possibly at all. I'm not sure. And so walking through here is kind of interesting because you go from a place like what I'm in right now where there are large, fairly mature trees, and all of a sudden there's just a line, and then you're walking through trees that are like 12 feet high, and you do that for a while. Then there's another line, and all of a sudden you're in trees that are kind of middle-aged, maybe 30, 40 feet high. So it's not the most aesthetically pleasing experience, but the trail through here is in great shape, I gotta say. And that did not always used to be true. This area south of Snoqualmie was a disaster when I hiked it in 2004. It just had not gotten any maintenance love because it's not glorious wilderness, because it is a working forest. There's not a lot of people who were interested in maintaining it, and at that time there was not a PCTA volunteer chapter up here in Washington at all. So I remember hiking it the first time in 2004, and there were places where the brush was so high and so thick you just had to kind of put your arms up in front of your face and bulldoze forward and hope that you were going in the right direction because you couldn't see anything. And then Barry had the same experience in 2006 when he thru hiked, and Jim Miller, I think, also had a similar experience. And Barry and Jim put their heads together and decided that they needed a volunteer chapter up here to do trail maintenance on the PCT. And so they got that ball rolling, and I turned out for the very first work crew ever, hosted by the Blades. The North 350 Blades is our full name. And I've been involved ever since. And yeah, we've put, thousands of hours of work into this stretch of trail. But it's beautiful, frankly. It's smooth, brushes, completely under control. There's no downed trees. It's just a great experience. So very different than my first experience in 2004. So thank you to everyone, the dozens, possibly hundreds of people over the years who have helped make that happen. This is a typical area that has been logged, clear-cut relatively recently. Now all the trees are growing back the same age and the same size. And you can see how the brush has been cut back on the trail so that there's a corridor at least 8 feet wide, which when we go through and cut looks a little stark. And I know a few people have complained over the years that it doesn't look very natural, which I guess is true, but there is a lot of miles of trail to maintain, and we can't afford to come, just gently trim all of the trail every year. So you've got to cut it back aggressively in one place so that you can leave it alone for a few years and go focus on other areas of the trail before you finally have to come back and do it again. I also have to cut the branches off of the trees that extend into the trail and keep all those pruned up so that both hikers and equestrians can travel through here in safety and comfort. Mirror Lake. This is a gorgeous lake, and I've spent a lot of time here.
Weather gotta go.
You gotta get out and stand in the sun for a while.
Yeah, I know.
We're at the super secret Snoqualmie Lakes at an undisclosed location. And we're going swimming. Well, most of us are. Some of us think that it's too cold.
And some of us are right.
So now you guys get to hear a taste of what Fugitive has had to put up with for the past 2 miles, because we're on my section, the section that I steward. So I'm telling her all the stories about the things that I've done. I cut this log, which was running across the trail up much higher, actually to right there. And that's like I don't know, how long of a span is that? 50 feet at least? That is a lot of weight. And so to cut that, there was so much force that the tree would just break and drop before I was even halfway through the log. And then walk this way and keep videoing. Over here, this one, when this one fell over, the root wad actually lifted up another log that I had cut a previous year. I thought that one was down on the ground and would stay there, and then it got actually raised up into the air. And the root ball pulled away part of the trail tread, so I built a rock retaining wall here to restore the trail, and I see that has been holding together very well, so I'm very pleased about that. And then this log coming farther, this whole big log down here used to be right up here on the trail, basically parallel to the trail. And so when I cut that, this whole section, that's like a 30-foot piece of wood, rolled down all at once. And so that was quite loud and energetic, which is always fun. We like the energetic ones, as long as it's safe energy. All right, so yeah, pity Fugitive because she's heard this for like 2 miles now.
It's pretty dang impressive, as you guys can tell just by what you're hearing here. Only you guys can't see the hugeness of these trees. They're massive. So anyways, yes. Just imagine it's way bigger than what you're looking at here.
Oh, and by the way, Fugitive is back.
What up?
She's looking much better than she did at White Pass.
Yes. Feeling much better too.
Yay. Yeah, so we're headed to Snoqualmie right now. Gonna spend the night there and then head north into the Alpine Lakes Wilderness tomorrow morning.